Welcome back over to the Joey Osborne Show. I'm your host, Joey Osborne. For today's video, we are going to be doing here, well, finally to the NBA Finals, so we're going to be doing a breakdown here of everything that has happened through the playoffs and my predictions is what will happen here as we get to the finally NBA Finals, and we're going to get to see who wins between the Miami Heat and the Denver Nuggets. But before we get into the finals matchup here, let's talk about some of the biggest losers in the playoffs this year. So let's start off here with the Cavs. Cavs. What was that? What did I just see you guys do in the first round now? You should have had an easy 5-game win series against the Knicks, and you blew it in 5. What on earth was that? Seriously. I'm asking for a friend here, and also myself. What on earth happened to you guys? You guys were little award beaters for the half of the whole year here. You had Donovan Mitchell. You literally had Darius Garland. And the best 1-2 punts in the front court in Mobley and in Jarrett Allen. So what on earth happened here? How did you lose to the Knicks? This is, honest to God, one of the most silliest things I have seen in a while. Yeah, you need to rethink things. And quick. Because a team of Donovan Mitchell and Darius Garland, plus Mobley and Allen, should be getting past the first round pretty easily, without much resistance. Especially when that team is the Knicks. And if you don't know the Knicks, they are, even though they're actually somewhat good now, they're still pretty much laughingstocks. Now let's talk about the Suns. Now this is a team I had a lot of hope for coming into the playoffs. Honestly, I had these guys going to the finals. Like, what happened now? Like, they just fell apart. And this is mostly due to the fact that they literally have no bench whatsoever. It is literally just, the plan is Chris Paul, KD, Devin Booker, and DeAndre Ayton. Past that, there is no plan other than play to guard that they can get back on the court in time and don't need many breaks. And this embarrassment against the Nuggets only proved the fact that the Suns are a very flawed team at that. And now we got to the point here where they have now fired head coach Monty Williams. Hint, Williams was not the problem. The problem was you had no actual bench. Literally, they only had a starting 5 that was good. Other than that, they were kind of trash. And there was high expectations, and they fell completely off. This is a team that really needs to rethink what they're doing next year. Because right now, it's not working. Philly. My favorite city in the world. If you can't tell, I'm literally lying. This city is, let's just say, when it comes to sports, the worst in America. Not by talent level, mind you, but by the fans. And boy, do they get what they deserved this year. Losing in the second round in a series they were up 3-1 against the Celtics. Yes, they lost when they were in a commanding lead of the series. They could have won in Game 6. They could have won in Game 7, yet blew it, and in Game 7 got blown out. This is the life of pretty much how the 76ers have been for the last couple years now. Wavering around and trying and hoping to God that Joel Embiid and James Harden can actually do something in the playoffs. Hint, neither of them can do anything in the playoffs. And once again, Philly, you are eliminated in the second round of the playoffs. And boy, does that make me smile. In all seriousness though, they did make the right decision in firing Doc Rivers. He needed to go. It clearly showed that he could not coach a playoff game to save his life, and the new hire, Nick Nurse, I think will be a very good hire, so there's a consolation prize at least. You get a new good head coach, Philly. Other than that, it's pretty much doom and gloom. And also James Harden, he may be gone, and going back to Houston, so have fun, Philly. Now let's talk about Memphis. Y'all know Ja Morant? Yeah, you know how he's really good on the court? Yeah, you may not be seeing him for a while. He may have been, let's just say, showing off his guns on Instagram again, and now will most likely be suspended for a decent bit. But don't worry, you have a consolation prize. It is while also this is happening, getting eliminated by the Lakers in the first round of the playoffs when you were 2 seed and they were little 7 seed. So yeah, I'm gonna be honest with you, Memphis. With all the Ja Morant stuff, you guys are in a lot of trouble right now, and you're gonna have to figure out what the heck to do. Because if Ja Morant doesn't call it, it's not gonna look good for you guys because he's pretty much your whole team, other than Jaren Jackson. So yeah, you'll be back next year if you got Ja Morant. Problem is, you need to make sure he's on the court next year. So we'll see what happens to you, Memphis, but it's going to be a fun offseason to watch to see what happens. Specifically with Ja Morant. And pretty much that's it because other than him, no one really cares about you, I'm gonna be honest with you. But hey, we'll see what happens. And let's just say you better pray Ja Morant does not get suspended for that long because if he is, you guys are serious jeopardy of not making the playoffs next year. Now let's talk about the Milwaukee Bucks here. I'll be honest, I'm not going to talk much crap on them because they had injuries the whole time. Losing Giannis Antetokounmpo for most of the games, that pretty much did kill them. I'll be honest, they tried their hardest. They were just too banged up to beat Miami. And Miami, they just had some really good luck in that first round now. Like, I can't really talk much bad when it comes to the playoffs. When it comes to the managerial decisions after the elimination, however, that I can get into. Why did you fire Mark? Why did you fire your head coach? I'm like seriously, like Mike Budenholzer. Like, why did you fire him? He literally won you an NBA championship 2 years ago, and they did. And they were literally the 1 seed. It made no sense to fire him. This is, yeah. I don't even want to know what the logic is behind this, but this is just not a good look. Well, we'll see you next year. You got Giannis, so we'll see you here next year, but you need to get your stuff together, because firing your head coach when the only reason you lost is mainly injuries is not a good look. Now let's talk about Golden State here. Now pretty much, they probably was just injured too much this year and had massive struggles in keeping people healthy or had players not play up to expectations. And losing to the Lakers, honestly, I was not surprised by it. The Lakers was just the better team at the time, for the most part. The problem here for the Warriors, however, comes as of yesterday, as their longtime general manager, Bob Myers, has decided to resign. So, pretty much the whole reign of terror of the Warriors is finally over. And as a Cavs fan, I am quite thrilled, because if you can guess, they have been kind of tormenting me for years now. So, thank goodness the evil empire is demolished. And now you have to start wondering if you're going to state who is staying and who is going, because the team right now has a lot of questions that need to be answered. And definitely this will be an integral offseason for the Warriors. So right now they are pretty big losers. Not only losing to the Lakers in the second round, but now also losing Bob Myers, the genius behind the super team himself, as he decides to retire. So this becomes a very integral offseason for them. So it will be fun to watch, but Warriors fans, you better hope you get yourselves a new really good GM. Or else you could end up like, say, the Penguins and get someone like Ron Hextall. Who basically, I would say his, I can't think of an NBA equivalent. I guess maybe Billy King, maybe? I don't know. Yeah. Just make sure you get the right GM and you'll probably be fine. But right now, it doesn't look good. But I'm sure you guys will figure it out because, let's be real here, it's the Warriors. They'll find a way back. And now finally, our last big loser here in the NBA playoffs here. Let's talk about Boston. The Boston Celtics. The number 3, I think they were the 2 seed. I get them fairly mixed up. But let's just say here, you had to face the Miami Heat. Like, you should have easily made your way back to the NBA Finals this year after last year's humiliating loss. Yeah, how did you go down 3-0 against the Heat? Like, I know the Heat have a lot of great momentum and they've been playing insanely lately, and Jimmy Butler has been playoff Jimmy Butler like always. But you really should have won this series, and you probably should have won in 5. You then went down 3-0, and then you decide to help all your Bostonians by inspiring hope by winning the next 3, making it a 3-3 series going into Game 7. If you watched what happened in Game 7, you clearly know what happened. They were demolished by the Heat at home. Like, how do you get demolished at home by that much? Jaylen Brown basically turned into a turnover machine in Game 7. And now you have a lot of questions to answer, because you should have easily won the series and should have been to the NBA Finals. However, now you guys are on the golf course and have to watch the 8-seed Heat be in the NBA Finals. Now you gotta wonder here, because both Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum are coming up in your contracts. Can you afford both of them? And the better question here is Jaylen Brown worth what he wants? And I'll be honest, after that performance in Game 7, I think that answer is a no. But this is going to become a very critical offseason if you're the Celtics, because this is a little joke of what happened this offseason. And you either got to figure things out, or I'm sorry, but you're done. Alright, so now we're done with all losers here. Now let's get into the actual matchup. And boy, is this going to be an exciting one, because we got, from the Western Conference side, we have the 1-seed Denver Nuggets in their first ever appearance in the NBA Finals, which is very exciting. And on the other side, we have the 8-seed Miami Heat, going all the way from the play-in all the way to the NBA Finals. So this is going to be a fun one, so let's get into it here. Now let's talk about the Denver Nuggets. Coming into the playoffs here, I really felt, even though they were the 1 seed, they were probably going to go out in the second or third round, like usual, as this has happened last 2 years, pretty much. I didn't really think that Nikola Jokic or Jamal Murray were really playoff performers. I was proven wrong during these playoffs, as they finally have, for the first time in franchise history, made it to the NBA Finals. And boy, is this going to be interesting. After sweeping the Lakers pretty easily here, which, I'm be honest here, that was a pretty tough task to ask, because the Lakers were a completely different team than earlier in the year. Like, they actually got good. And if you saw Austin Reeves and all just what they were doing, like, they looked like they actually could have had a good shot of winning that series. Of course, it came down to pretty much getting swept, but that just shows you how good of a team that Denver is. They are very good off the bench. They have some great options there. But the 2 main reasons why they are here where they are is Nikola Jokic and Jamal Murray. Both of these guys have come out firing during these playoffs. They have pretty much willed their team all the way here. Now, by will, I don't mean like saying, of course, the bench obviously is also very good, and it has more than well played a critical part in getting them here. But if there's star power, they need to show up in big time, because that's, if you're a good team and you want to get far, you need to make sure your star players show up at the big times. This year they did exceptional when they showed up big. Like, multiple games were won pretty much on the backs of either Jokic or Jamal Murray. And this is going to be a tough team to beat. I'm going to be honest, there are not many holes with this Denver Nuggets squad. I don't really see many holes. Mike Malone has really proven, because there have been a lot of questions coming this offseason if he really is that good of a head coach. He has pretty much shadowed all those naysayers, and he has done what a few of us thought would actually happen this year and make the actual finals. But this is seriously a good team. My concerns coming in was, were they actually going to be actually perform in the playoffs? Because the last 2 years, they had struggled with that and getting it done. This year, they finally got over that hump, and I'm going to be honest with you here, I really like their chances this year. I think they have a strong team, and Miami, they have played a lot of great teams, and they have had tough battles to deal with, but this is going to be their toughest task yet. And if they, honestly, I will say this here of Denver too, this is probably also Denver's toughest test as well as Miami, because Miami as well has been on hot streaks as of late. But I feel definitely as of right now, the Denver Nuggets are also on one of those too. And I think just the way this roster is built, either way, this is going to be a fun matchup. Now let's get into Miami here. And before I begin, I just want to say one word here. Wow. I cannot believe what you guys have done. Like, this is insanely impressive. I'm going to be honest with you here. I really thought the NBA was a place where the 8 seed would rarely ever, if ever, get to the NBA Finals. But that just tells you how good really the East was this year. All 8 teams were very good, and they were tough to beat. And what the Heat did, down so many men, losing Tyler Hero in the first game, having Butler out for a couple, what they were able to do and who they were able to beat was just plain out impressive. They were able to literally beat out, and these are just some spectacular matchups. They were able to beat out the Bucks. They were able to beat out the Knicks. Actually, the Knicks was an easy one, but Milwaukee was not an easy one. And then they come up and they go up 3-0 against Boston. And even after blowing the next 3 games, they still won. And the main reason for them winning, it's Jimmy Butler is the one part of it, but the other part is just the other guys they have on the team. And a lot of these guys, they were unrestricted free agents. They were, of course, undrafted free agents. These are guys who were never even given a chance in the NBA. They were never drafted. And they are right now coming out full force and firing. This is a team that they are on a hot streak. And honestly, when you get to a team like this in the playoffs, they can be a big problem. And boy, did they really show up. I'm going to be honest with you, I really did think that Miami, even though they'll face Milwaukee when we got in here, I thought they'd keep it to be a fight. But if you would have told me that they'd make it to the finals without Tyler Hero, one of the main men they have, I would have thought you were joking. But this just shows you how deep and how good this team really is. This is a team that can be a total nightmare matchup in the playoffs. They may not be the most talented team, but if they're playing the way they are and they have the momentum that they have, that's a scary matchup. And even if you're the Nuggets, you have to be scared of what could possibly happen. They just took down the Celtics, and they just pretty much played with them the whole series. The 3 games that the Heat lost, after going up 3-0, they weren't blowouts at all. These were one-score games. They could have just scored a basket and won the game. They weren't blowouts. These were close games. These were tough physical matchups, and this is something Denver is really going to have to worry about because they really have not had that in the playoffs by this point. They've had a pretty easy path. And this is going to be their real test, I feel like, if you're Denver. And now my prediction for, of course, the NBA Finals here, the moment you all have been waiting for. My prediction here is going to be Heat in 7. I feel like the Miami Heat, right now, they have more of the momentum. A lot of their guys are coming out and firing, and they are really just believing in this team. And I just see right now, as good as the Nuggets are, I don't think they've had to face a tougher team as the Heat. And I feel like the Heat, right now, to this point, are going to be the team that can come out and win this thing. They have been, silencing the naysayers all year, and I think that continues in this series. And since I'm so good at NBA predictions, I'm going to say congratulations Nuggets on winning the NBA Finals. Because knowing me, I've pretty much just probably jinxed the Heat. So, congrats Nuggets. And thank you guys here for watching this video. If you like this video, please comment, like, and subscribe, and tune in for more. We have videos about the NBA, of course, just like this one, NHL, MLB, and NFL. So tune in, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and have a great day.